more time. We back again, and this one is for the ladies. Okay, ladies. Well, first I want to thank everybody for the calls and the emails. If you can, leave some comments. Let people know what you're thinking. You can leave some questions as well. But thank you for all of the calls. It was a lot, but I enjoyed it, and thank you for the feedback. Rob D, thank you for helping me with the posts. Everybody that gave me all of their information. I had some people that do blogs. They kind of helped me with some situations, so I want to try to incorporate a little bit of that into what I do as well. So this video is called Power versus Possessions. So when we say power versus possessions, I want to speak on my grandmothers on either side of my family. My grandmothers were matriarchs. They were staples in our family. So a lot of things that they did, they kept the family together and they kept it strong. Both of my grandmothers were married to my grandfathers. So my grandfather took his power, gave it to her, and she was more powerful. And it was a stronger family structure back then for us as a family on either side. My grandmother, when she spoke, she was heard. And after she was heard, it was done. That was it. There was no more conversation as far as what we're going to do and how we're going to proceed. Because my grandmother had power. That was connected to her being the matriarch and the staple in the family, and her being married to my grandfather, and them coming together and complementing one another. That doesn't mean that they didn't have their struggles, their strifes, and their hurdles. They had their challenges like everybody else. My grandmother was not rich. She didn't have a big house. She didn't have a fancy car. She didn't have a lot of clothes. But she had power. So when you got the power, we're speaking on that. She had the intangibles. She had the things that you cannot touch. She had love, integrity. She had passion. She had drive. She had concern. She had nurturing. She had wisdom. She had wit. Those intangible things that you cannot touch is what made her powerful. That was what connected her to her power. So now we want to get into the sacrifices that she had to make, because there are going to be sacrifices when we do things like this. When my grandmother called the family together during the holidays, we knew it was going to be at her house, or if it wasn't at her house, she made the call on where it was going to be, and we knew what time it was because she told us when we were going to meet and where we were going to meet. Any situations and problems that we had in the family, my grandmother was able to come in and shut it down or help cultivate and move the situation along. So now, having that matriarch in the family, because we've lost that position in our families, and it's a big loss, it's grave to the family, it's detrimental because we don't have that glue to keep us stuck together. So not having the cohesiveness in the family, losing that power. Now we want to say the power, we want to say versus possessions. Now we know my sisters today. My sisters are independent. We applaud that. We want our sisters to be able to take care of themselves. We want the PhDs. We want the double masters. We want you to have a 4,000 square foot house. We want you to have the Mercedes-Benz and the BMW in the garage. We applaud that. Do it. Go get it. Get that six-figure income. You earned it. You sacrificed for it. It's yours. You should enjoy it. This is not what we're talking about. We're not telling you not to do it. We're just wanting you to weigh power versus possessions. So in your possessions, you can't have a 4,000 square foot house. You can't have the BMW and the Mercedes-Benz. But now what we want to do, those are things that you can touch. These are manufactured goods. But now, what is the sacrifice for my sisters to go out and get this education and get the 4,000 square foot house, the Mercedes-Benz, and the BMW? These things you can touch. Things that can be touched can be easily taken away. So now I'm taking that and I'm saying power that my grandmother had versus possessions that my independent sisters have today. My independent sisters today, can you get on the phone? Call your family. Get them together because you said so. When you speak, will you be heard, and then will it be done? Moving along, moving forward, taking this information into consideration. Whatever you want to do, if you want to be powerful, you can take that route. If you want to have possessions, you can focus, set that goal, and travel that down that path. Whichever one you want to choose is going to be a sacrifice on either side. So the power versus possessions, we making this video so that my sisters can make a choice. Because you have the choice. You have the power. And you can give it up for possessions. So we want you to take this information. Try this information. We want you to test this information. Take it to the barbershop and the hair salon. We want you to take it to your family. Take it to the church. Take it to work. This is the Clipperdome Chronicles. Thank you.